Hey y'all, welcome back to the garage. Today we've got another surface prep machine. It's kind of like the Sand Pro we had, but this is made by Smith Co. So basically the same issue we had with the other one. They're saying that the battery's not charging, or the charging system's not working. So let's get to checking it out and see what we can find. Alright y'all, before we get into doing too many checks and everything on this thing, I want to give a little backstory on it. The company that owns these is right across the street from my work, my daily job. This isn't my daily job. I just do this on the side, kind of as a little hobby. But anyways, they jump started it, drove it across the street through the parking lot. We loaded it onto my trailer, started right back up. Sat there all day, like 8 hours, or so. I brought it home, went to start it, battery was dead. So got the jump pack out, threw it on it. It was on 30 seconds or so. Started it up, took it off, put the seat down, as you can see I got the seat cover up because the battery ran under that seat. Backed it into the shop and shut it off, and I'm like, let's see. So I hit the key and it started right up again. Now the battery jump pack wasn't on there long enough to charge that battery up enough to start it. At least I wouldn't think so. So I'm suspect the battery's probably going bad on this thing, or we might have some bad connections, because the connections on this battery are kind of janky. But anyways, let's get the camera over there and I'll show you what we're working with. Alright y'all, I'll back up here. Like I said, it's a Smith Co. It's a super rake. See, super rake. Battery's right in there. This is a Vanguard V-twin. I believe it's 16 horse. Now the first thing I did when I got this thing home, so I put it on the battery charger, trickle charge, like a 6 amp charge. I had it on for 2 days, and it was the meter on my charger never said fully charged. But I took the VOM air, and we've got almost 13 volts. So, but I do have the ground disconnected. But you can see this ground here. It wasn't tight, and it's not tight on there. So that's what makes me kind of suspect that it might be a connection issue. And because the grounds, the positive's good and tight. So we either, I can't say that it's actually a charging issue, but the battery is from 2018. You see right there. The battery might be at its end of its life. So I did pick up something that I think is going to help us on this diagnosis. So I'm going to grab that, and we'll get the camera set up to where you guys can see and I can see, and we can do some work, and I'll show you what I got. Alright y'all, here's what I picked up. It's a digital battery and system tester. I picked this up at the old Hobo Freight there. If you guys watch my live streams and stuff, they put one in on the way home from work. So I might be spending a lot more money there, but it's supposed to test everything: lead acid batteries, gels, marine, special batteries, AGMs, and deep cycles. This thing was under 50 bucks. I do have a battery tester at work. It's an expensive one, but I wanted to pick this thing up to show that if you all need one at home, it's a good thing to have around the house, for your DIY stuff, and it'll help eliminate a lot of issues. So I'm gonna let's get this thing unboxed, and we'll show you what we got on the inside here. So just pop the bottom open. Got an empty box now. Got a pretty little case there. Comes with a little plastic bag around it, so I'll get the plastic off of here. Alright, nice little unit there. Looks like it's got some nice long leads on it, a couple decently heavy clips. So alright, let's get over here and I'll show you guys how to, or we'll learn I guess, how to run this thing together. So let me get the camera moved around and we'll do that. Alright y'all, I connected it up, and when I did, it jumped up to the main menu here, and your options are battery system test, settings, or test records. So being as the battery system test is highlighted, we're going to push enter, and it asks you, do you want to do a battery test or a system test? We want to do a battery test. And then it says standard flooded. Yep. The other options are AGM flat plate, AGM spiral, gel, EFB. Yep, and that's it. So we've got a standard flooded battery, so we're going to push yep. We want cold cranking amps, amp hour, cranking amps, or MCA, which I don't know what MCA is right off the hand, but probably some minute cranking amps. I don't know. We want the cold cranking amps, so we're gonna select capacity. Our capacity is 450. It starts out at 500 there, so we're gonna back it down. Oops, that's up. I'm gonna go down. We're gonna do 450. Press enter. In-vehicle battery, yes. Surface charge, turn headlights on for 10 seconds, then turn them off. Press enter to continue. I don't know if the lights work on this thing, but actually, you know, we're going to back out of this. And we're going to reset it. Battery test, yes. Standard flooded, yes. Cold cranking amps. Battery test. Standard flooded. Cold cranking amps, yes. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and okay, where it says is battery in the vehicle, we're going to say no because we got the ground disconnected right now. So do that. It says testing. It says bad replace. State of health is 41%. State of charge is 100%. Measured cold cranking amp 307. Battery voltage is 12.99. Internal R is 9, or internal resistance is 9.75 ohms, and this has the capacity of saving your tests. So we're going to save the test and right back to the main menu. So I'm going to do that again just to double check. So we got the, you guys can see there, it says, you know, battery system, and it says battery test. We're going to say yes, and then there's your next menu for you guys can see there. Push enter, and there's all your options, and we're going to place yes. We put 450 because that's what the cranking amps is on this battery, and then ask if it's the batteries in the vehicle or not. Technically it's in the vehicle, but we don't have it hooked up, so we push no. We're going to push enter, and it says testing. So let it do its little test session here, and there's the results. Let you guys read them for yourself. So I am going to go ahead and get this thing fired up, and I'm going to test the charging system to make sure it's putting out the 14.5 volts or 13.5 to 14 volts that it should be. And this might be just as simple as replacing the battery. So alright, so I'm going to exit out of this thing here, and then I'm going to get it fired up. I'm going to use my voltmeter. We might use this tool here to test the system to see if it's charging or not. But so let me play around with it a little bit here. But I got to move you guys because you're precariously perched on top of this engine, so you can see what's going on in here. And I can't start the engine with you sitting there because you'll take a crash. So let me do that. Let me mess with this little tool here a little bit more, and we'll bring you all back. Alright, y'all. I tried the video doing the system test. It just wasn't having it. I couldn't get a good angle so you guys could see the scan tool or the tester, and me be able to see what was going. But I did record it. So let's go back here, show you. See, it has the battery system test settings, and then test record or record records. And we got 1 battery test and 2 system tests. So let's we're going to view the records. So it gives you the option: view test records, delete test records, or exit. So we want to view them. And there's the first one. I'm hoping I can't see it in my view screen of my camera. It's too small. But the cranking volts was 10.3. It says charging system fail. Charging system volts greater than 13.8 volts. Alternator issue, and then that's all it gives me. It says it has an alternator issue. I think it's because of the way this thing has its charging with the voltage regulator and stuff. But so we're gonna push escape, go back to the main menu, go back to our test records, view test records. Yeah. If I push up and down, it's exactly the same results on both of the system tests. The 10.3 volts, the 13.8 volts for the charging. In the charging system test, it has you put the controller on, start it. Well, put it on with no headlights, radio, or anything like that on. Start it, and then it goes through its test and stuff like that. And it reads the starting voltage, the ripple through the alternator, and then it will have you turn the headlights on and rev it up to 2,000, 2,500 RPMs. Well, this thing idles at like 800 or so and only revs to 3,000, so there's not much of a rev through there. So, but I did test it with my multimeter, and I am getting 13.5, 13.8 volts when it's running, and it's back down to 12.5 volts when it's sitting still. So yeah, this thing did exactly what it was. I'm gonna contact the customer tomorrow. It's too late to get them tonight, and tell them that they have basically 2 issues. The first one is that battery cable. I don't like the way that thing's set up. Matter of fact, it popped off while it was running, so I'm going to guess that it's probably not getting a good charge into the battery. So probably first off, we're going to change that ground wire, put the proper ground wire on it, and we'll probably test the system again. But the battery did test bad, so I think the battery's just old age. And what I also may do is talk with them and see if they want to put a battery disconnect switch on this thing. That way it just isolates the battery. This thing probably only gets used maybe once a month. So even if there is a slight parasitic draw that I can't detect, it may not kill this battery for 2 or 3 weeks, or a week, or over a few days. So I'm gonna talk to them, and whatever they decide, if they want me to do something more with it, we'll do something more with it. If they just want to say heck with it and not do anything at all, then we'll just return it and I'll end the video. If they say, yeah, let's go ahead and put a disconnect switch on it, we'll go ahead and do that, and I'll bring you along and show you what's all involved with that. And replacing the battery. Replacing the battery on this thing looks like it's relatively easy. It's just a big U-bolt that holds the battery down. Take the cables off, take that U-bolt out, drop a new battery in. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So, but either way, we'll bring you guys back whenever we decide what's going to be going on with this thing. Alright, y'all. It's been a few days. I've been going back and forth with the owner of this unit, and I did determine there was a small parasitic draw on this battery. I believe it was in the key switch, corrosion and stuff. So what I did was I used some of this electronic cleaner, really good stuff, cleans up the contacts and stuff really good in the switch. And then I went ahead and used some dry graphite lubricant, which is really nice. It lubes the switch up really nice, but it dries, so it doesn't conduct electricity. Works really well. The switch works a lot better now. My parasitic draw is gone for the most part. When I take the negative battery terminal off, put my multimeter across it, I get just nominal amperage, milliamps, instead of I think I had 2 amps or 3 amps coming across it with the key in the off position. And the only thing I did change was cleaning the switch and stuff. This thing doesn't have anything that uses power while it's running, so there should be no draw other than having the headlights on. But I pulled the fuse on the headlights and the amp draw was still there, so I'm saying that it was probably corrosion in the switch going to the ground and just backfeeding and letting it kill the battery over time. Now, we did get a new ground cable, because this one you cannot tighten up anymore, and I don't like this connection, so I will be replacing that. But other than that, I wanted to put a disconnect switch on it to completely disconnect the battery from the unit. The owner thinks it's a good idea. He just hasn't gotten back to me yet to say, yes, let's do it. He is going to replace the battery. Doesn't want me to do it. So I think it's probably because he's just going to buy a cheap battery somewhere, Walmart or whatever. I would use an Napa Legend battery because, they're not a sponsor, but they make some good batteries. But so we're basically done here. Like I said, just this ground cable just bolts on a chassis bolt right down here. No big deal. It looks just like this red one, except for it's black. It has a lead that comes down and goes there. If he does determine that we want to do the disconnect switch, I'll use this wire from the chassis ground to the switch, and then my new ground lead from the switch up to the battery. But yeah, he's still going to get back to me on that, whether he wants that done or not. He was here and looked at it, seen where I was going to mount it. I was going to mount it right down in this little V area down here. Nice little plate, and don't even have to put the seat up to get to it. So he thought maybe up on the side cover. I don't like that idea because it's out in the elements too much for me. These things do get parked outside a lot in the weather, snow, rain, whatever. But I guess that's more for me, more money for me, and he brings them back and has me fix them. So yeah, that's it on this one. So alright y'all, that's gonna do it for this Smith Co. Super Rake. It was more about finding the parasitic draw and determining why the battery was going dead. They thought the charging system wasn't working. From what I can determine, I got 13.5 volts when it's running. That's plenty to charge the battery up. So, but we did use the Viking tester there from Harbor Freight to test the battery, and it did test bad. So my theory is that the battery is going bad with the parasitic draw through the ignition switch, killing it over time. The battery just doesn't have it in it to sustain the battery, keep it charged up. So that's gonna do it. So hope you guys take a little bit away from this here on kind of running down parasitic draws, and not just jumping to a bad battery or bad charging system. You got to check all your systems there to make sure. Pulling that negative cable off, running your multimeter across there, making sure you're not getting voltage across there, or sorry, amperage. You will get some voltage, especially if there is a small parasitic draw. You can get 12 volts across it, 12.5 volts, whatever your battery voltage is. What you're looking at is the amperage. You want milliamps or hundreds of milliamps is fine, but when you get up to half a milliamp or half an amp, 2 amp, 3 amps, that's when it will kill your battery. And I didn't catch it on the video. Showing that we did have a couple amps coming across there. That was totally my fault. I thought I turned the camera on, but I didn't. I got a lot of footage of me, like scratching my head and talking to myself, but none of checking the amp draw, and then none of fixing it because, or checking the switch there, to see if that, unplugging the switch and taking the fuses and stuff out. Because I'd shut the camera off because I thought I was recording, and I wasn't. So I'm working on remedying that, and trying to get a way that I can video at the tractor pulls for my class when I'm pulling, and I can't be running the camera. But like I said, I'm working on something for that too. So I'm rambling. So appreciate you all watching. If you made it this far, please definitely hit that like button, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you did make it this far, keep your eyes out. We're going to be having a giveaway real soon. I'm thinking one of them Viking testers. That's a nice little tool to have for a DIY person. So does everything that my expensive one at the shop does, but I think I bought that one for my home use. I think I'm going to buy another one, and I think that's what we're going to give away. So if you think that's a good idea, leave me down in the comments there, and we'll determine how we're going to give that away. So appreciate you all, love you all, and keep wrenching, and catch you all on the next one.